Christchurch Casino Lady Wigram Trophy was first competed for in 1949, and since then the trophy holders read like a who's who of world motorsport, starting with the Knights, Sir Jack Brabham, Sir Sterling Moss, Sir Jackie Stewart, the late great Jim Clark, four-time winner Graham McRae, two-time winner Kenny Smith, and it's Kenny Smith that will sit on pole position. But all the talk here at Christchurch has been about the weather. And Ken Smith wants to get on with it. He knows that the rain's coming. What turned out to be a beautiful sunny day here in Christchurch has suddenly turned sour, and away they go on their warm-up lap. But you can see already spots of rain on the screen, and this is the result. It is absolutely teeming down. That means the race will be stopped. The cars will go back into the pits here at Powerbuilt Tools International Raceway and change tyres. Go from slicks to full wets if you've got them. Let me tell you that some of the field don't have wet tyres. So there is Kenny Smith. He has got wets. He is the points leader in the MSC Formula 5000 Tasman Revival Series. Plenty of activity in the pits there. Russell Greer gets his tyres changed as we go back behind the safety car here at the Christchurch Casino Lady Wigram Trophy. This is what it's all about. Formula 5000 cars in the rain. They're about to turn them loose. It's a rolling start as it always is. Oh, and Sefton Gibb goes back into the pits on his first lap. Now, I wonder if that's a tyre issue or maybe a mechanical issue. Meantime, at the front of the field, Tony Richards and Ken Smith battle it out into Flexoplast. Turn one here at Powerbuilt Tools International Raceway, and coming out ahead is the man that's already won two of the prestigious Lady Wigram trophies. One in a Formula 5000, one in a Formula Pacific. And virtually 33 years to the day, he can win another one here at the Christchurch Casino Lady Wigram Trophy. Powerbuilt Tools International Raceway, Ruapuna. You can see from the rooster tails, the rain continues to teem down. And it's an amazing situation, the weather, because it just clouded over in the last 10 or 15 minutes and the heavens have opened up. And you saw the urgency on the front of the grid. Ken Smith knew it was coming. He knew he wanted to get on with it. This would be a special win for him. And he's doing all he has to do at the moment, and one of his main charges is probably going to be a little negated by the wet condition, and that is Canadian Jay Esterer in the McRae GM1. Now, we've seen that that car seemed to have the extra horsepower. Oh, problems behind, and I think that's the number 14. And that's Blenheim's Russell Greer that's gone round. Great to see Russell back in the series. He had all sorts of problems with the gearbox and the transmission issue in the rounds in Australia. This is round 3 of the MSC Formula 5000 Tasman Revival Series. And Ken Smith gingerly works his way around the Rock FM Avon City Ford sweeper and down the front straight once again. There is a recovered Russell Greer, so he's back in the fray. And behind him, I think it might have been Paul Christie. There's been a couple that haven't been able to start, probably for a lack of wet tyres, and one of them was certain to be a front runner, and that was Roger Williams, so he hasn't started. Sefton Gibb we saw go into the pits in the first lap. This man has started though. This is Tony Richards in the Lola T332. He's been keeping this man honest all throughout the Tasman Revival Series, and that is Stan Redman. So Stan Redman goes onto the grass, and amazingly enough, the rain is starting to ease off now. Now you've got the situation that all these front-running cars are on full wet tyres. The rain has stopped here at Powerbuilt Tools International Raceway for the moment anyway. And now, will we see another pit stop to change back to slicks? If the weather continues to be fine, we may see that. You'll notice in the different lines that Ken Smith and the front runners were looking for wet patches on the racetrack. Number 9 there, Hamish Patterson in the chevron, just up in front of a recovering Stan Redman. This is the race leader though, Kenny Smith. Been racing for over 50 years, continuous motorsport events here in Australia and around the world. Paul Christie, then it's Russell Greer, then it's number 1, Aaron Burson. And then it's our English visitor, and that is Frank Lyons in the Beg, the number 19 Beg. This is Jay Esterer. Well, I said he had the horsepower. He certainly hasn't got the handling. Look at the big push that the McRae's got as he comes around the big sweeper. He just can't turn it, and he had that problems in the dry as well, and they're going to be multiplied here in the rain. Pass for position there for Stan Redman, so he moves up a spot. He's in full recovery mode. He's already had a spin, remember, in the Magnum wheels, Lola T332. Well, these stock block Formula 5000s putting around about 650 horsepower down onto the racetrack. You can understand as the back of the GM1 gets a bit twitchy there for Jay Esterer that you have to be so careful on the throttle. Interesting to note that the lap record here is a 1:19 on this 3.33 kilometre configuration here at Powerbuilt Tools International Raceway. I can tell you now that they're probably 15 to 20 seconds off that. Such are the conditions as they work their way into the Christchurch Casino Carousel now. Oh, and this is Aaron Burson by the look of it. Just gone straight ahead at the HB Automotive hairpin. The Talon. Well, he's another driver that's come on in leaps and bounds this season, certainly in Australia. And here in New Zealand, this is round 3 of the series. There is Jay Esterer. He was fast in the dry as Aaron Burson recovers and gets back onto the circuit here at the hairpin, and he heads towards the Christchurch Casino Carousel. And even just getting back onto the tarmac is proving to be a bit of a problem. Now this is Ian Clements working on Esterer. And if he can make it, this will be a pass for position. Out in the front still, Ken Smith leads it. Tony Richards is second. Oh, and look at the wheel spin from the McRae. He gets some power of it down to the ground and just streaks ahead of Clemens. Here is Tony Richards, and he's second. Now further up the road, around about 15 seconds up the road now, is Ken Smith. So he is on his way to winning a 3rd Lady Wigram Trophy. And there is the race leader. Now it's ironic that in the past he said he doesn't like driving in the rain, and Aaron Burson's decided to call it a day. The arm comes up out of the cockpit. Aaron decides that it's time to go back into the pits. His day is over. As the hardy crowd here at Powerbuilt Tools International Raceway are still lining the fences to watch what is the feature event. Originally scheduled to go over 15 laps. This enthralling little battle here continues. This is a battle just outside, I should say, the top 5. Jay Esterer in the Graham McRae engineered GM1, and right in behind him in the Lola T332, that's Ian Clements. This is Ian's second Lola T332. His other one he sold to Sefton Gibb. Sefton Gibb went out of the race in lap number 1, I should say. And look at Esterer. He is absolutely struggling with the conditions here. That car has just got too much power. Around the sweeper they go and gingerly onto the throttle. And as I said, the lap time's probably around about 20 seconds slower than they would be in the dry. Nowhere near the 1:19s, probably in the 1:30s at the moment. This man in second place, this is Tony Richards. Battle for 4th and 5th, and Redmond it is. It's got in front of a struggling Jay Esterer. Coming through pothole and up towards the hairpin here in Christchurch, and it looks to me like the rain is starting to pitter-patter down again, and it's a lot less than it was earlier on. It was an absolute cloudburst, and it negated the first start of the Lady Wigram Trophy. It meant a quick trip to the pits for full wets, and that's what Ken Smith did. He knew it was coming. You could see his antics on the start line on the grid when they were gridding up. He knew that we had to get on with this race and get it underway before the rains came. Well, we couldn't quite do that. But in the second attempt, it's worked out well for Smithy. 21 is Lindsay O'Donnell. In behind him, another man that's recovering after a spin in the early going. This is the Magnum Wheels Lola T332 of Flexoplast's Stan Redmond. Well, you see there a graphic example of how well the wet tyres work, just pushing the rain off the racetrack, trying to make it dry. And you can see also parts of Powerbuilt Tools International Raceway here are dry. So are we going to be in the quandary we mentioned before? Are some of these guys going to have to come in and change tyres again? The crowds have come back, so the rain has stopped for the moment here at the Christchurch Casino Lady Wigram Trophy. First competed for back in 1949. 3 years before that, the Canterbury Car Club was put into being. But way before then, the first motorsport event in Christchurch was held, can you believe it, at what is now AMI Stadium in front of 5,000 people. And since then, the Christchurch population has had a love affair with motor racing. And they've come out in their droves here to Powerbuilt Tools Raceway to watch this, the feature event. 14, Russell Greer gets a lot of help from his wife. Certainly did when they travelled over to Australia. The man from Blenheim This is the ex-Murray Sinclair, ex-Graham Lawrence Lola T332 in the livery as raced by Graham Lawrence. This is Tony Richards. Well, he's been the quiet achiever of the MSC Tasman Revival Series for the Formula 5000s, both here in New Zealand and in Australia. From here we go to Pukekohe Park Raceway and then on to Taupo.